My goal is a complete recreation of the set of primetime wrestling.
So, fuck you. That was my idea. That's what I said. I said to him last night, I go, my goal.
I'm using all this, by the way. This is great.
He's a jerk because I go, my goal is to have a recreation of the primetime wrestling set for like a wrestling podcast.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like the old primetime of Bobby Heenan.
I don't know who you're going to have for your co-host, though, because I already stole him.
He's got to fucking split time, man. He's got to split time.
My goal is to be on every podcast.
Every wrestling podcast. Or every podcast.
Yeah, so here we are, interviews with everyday people, or what we're going to call this episode, Interview. My dude.
My dude.
I gave you the cue. So I've been plugging so real quick, if you're watching visually, you're like, wait, guys, why is your mic facing a different way? And why does it sound way better? So Jack's here for 13 seconds and goes, hey, this doesn't sound as good as this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, blew my goddamn mind. So this is our new thing now.
We're not new.
Yeah,
we've been around for a while.
Murder My Dude guys come on one time and
audio My Dude
and just audioed it up for me. That's like right. They just changed
production My Dude.
They changed the whole game. But yeah, so I've been talking about this podcast for a while.
Maybe too much.
Probably too much, but it's never enough. I'm a big fan. I really like it. I was very proud that I was completely caught up, but I am 2 behind now, so I have to get caught back up in that. But yeah, so I work with Brian and or BP, but he's Brian on Tornado, so it's over.
Brian Paddington Burke.
Yeah, so that one's out of the water.
Paddington is not your name. You're lying to the public.
Oh, damn.
So we were at work and we didn't even talk that much. Like he's only here once in a while.
Yeah, I work from home mainly, but I'm in there like once a week or once every 2 weeks.
And then I seen you guys at Culture to Culture, and I was like, holy shit, what's up? So I went over, I was talking, and then I was talking to Jack a little here, and then he's like, yo, we do a podcast, and I learned about it. I was like, I didn't know Brian is a fucking, like, this whole time, like, I work with a guy, and he's, like, doing the same thing I'm doing.
I am a closed book.
You would have never found out.
Never.
If I didn't say anything.
No, you're absolutely right.
I am a closed book very much.
Yeah. So,
not the best candidate for an interview, apparently. I don't know why I'm here.
So, I go and I look it up, and I start listening to it, I'm like, this is like, and I went from, like, I did it like a Netflix series. I started episode 1, and I went through, and I was like, every time he'd be in, I'm like, yo, I'm like episode 3. He's like, he goes, please, can you just skip all that and go to this episode because this is where
it gets good here.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm not skipping
after episode 10.
Yeah, see, me personally, I liked but I also I'm the same person too. Like, if you went back and listened to like interview 1 and then interview whatever we're at now. Yeah. We've changed. Like, I mean, I just flipped the mic around 30 episods in. You know what I mean? Like, you're always learning. You're always picking it up. And I liked listening to that transition. I think your podcast is very polished. I think your dynamic with each other is amazing.
Well, then don't listen to episode 31.
No,
I forgot the microphones were in front of us.
Oh.
And I just kept babbling.
Yeah, but they're sometimes my favorites too.
Yeah, that's really good. But what'll happen is we'll stop recording and Jack will be like, that was awful. We need to cut half of it out. We need to redo it. Like, no, it's better than you think. And then listen to it, like, oh yeah, it was better than I thought.
How many times we kind of talked about how many times you're like, he tells you to cut something, you're like, cool, I did it, and then you just don't, and you leave it in, and he's
well, no, now I just tell him to cut it.
Oh, and then it never
does.
Yeah, and then it doesn't happen.
We're just dealing with it.
Because I don't like editing. He knows this.
Yeah.
I despise editing. I hate the sound of my own voice.
Yeah.
It's
mine. So it's weird.
So I think you guys both have great voice. Like the thing at work everyone talks about is like Brian has the voice of an angel. Like that's,
and I'm like, have they ever heard me pronounce an S word when they say this?
Yeah, everyone's like all the people at work love Brian's voice. And then I'll get a phone call and they'll be like, yeah, I was just talking to you on the phone. I was like, no, we weren't. Were you talking to Brian? They're like, oh yeah, we were. I'm like, listen, thank you so much for comparing me to the angelic voice of Brian. But no, it's so I start listening to it. I'm a huge fan of it.
Thank you.
We'll get more into what the show is about in a bit, but you guys been long time.
Well, I'll just tell them now. Your show is about where you sit and you interview people.
Yeah,
everyday people.
Everyday people.
Yeah, everyday people. You should. Why isn't it that Everyday People song?
I am everyday people.
I am everyday people.
I don't think I get the rights to it.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers them.
That's very true, but I probably still wouldn't get the rights to it. Didn't a car commercial take it for a while?
Yeah, it was in something.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Hear this and sue you?
Probably. Well, no. Every time I upload it to YouTube, I get like a strike.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should do a spin-off interviews with every other day people. Like
Every other
some
day?
days I'm a person, some days I'm a
and
dog.
it's only Brian because he's or like every once a week people.
Yeah. Once a week.
about him
Interviews
going
with
to work.
occasional people.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they raid Area 51 and I can get my first interview with an alien. We can get one of those people out, one of those aliens out, and I can interview him.
I like it.
One day. That's my dream. Interview an alien. It'd be great.
It'd be like Joe Rogan.
Yeah. You ever tried DMT, bro? That's the Joe Rogan joke every time.
Real quick before we
Where's the alien's pineal gland?
before we get into all the meat and potatoes of this meat and potatoes, as my mom would say, of this episode.
Just met your mom. Beautiful woman.
Looks just like me.
Looks just like you. She's very, very nice.
Beard and everything.
We pull up, and Tony goes, "You look just like your mom."
And then she yells, "We have the same mustache," which is hilarious.
My mom. Yeah. Joe Rogan's he talked to Bernie Sanders.
I didn't listen to it yet, but I heard that Bernie said if he wins the presidency, and if he hears any classified stuff about Area 51, he will tell the public.
Yeah. Well, Joe asked him. He was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "My wife would make me."
Yeah.
That's what Bernie said. He's like, "My wife." He's like, "Joe, I'll come on here when we're done." You know, it was pretty cool, man.
Did you see now that there's a push to have Joe Rogan moderate a presidential debate? There's like a petition for that.
Joe can do everything.
Yeah, he's great. But enough about him. Let's talk about me.
Yeah.
And him, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys been friends for a long time.
25 years.
Too long.
How did you guys become? How did you just meet?
We lived on the same street.
My mom paid me.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, sorry.
There is a little bit of an age difference too.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. Oh, that's not
But
terrible.
back then it's bigger. Like now it's like he's 3 years older. But when we met, I was 11, he was 14.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more pronounced then.
So there's a real. Okay, this is real. This happened.
Uh-huh.
This is a shoot.
Yeah,
brother.
this is absolutely true.
I'm out in the kitchen doing dishes, as a good little boy would do. My mom goes, "Jack, come here, you gotta see this." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I run from the kitchen to the porch, and she goes, "Look at this." And there's Brian running down the street with a cape on and a crown.
Like Jerry Lawler.
And he's just running down. He was dressed like Jerry Lawler. Yeah, he's running down the street. And she goes, "Jack, you got to talk to him. Go talk to him."
Go be his friend.
Right. So I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Because we were new to the street. Now, this street, mind you, had 60 kids.
Yeah.
So I had so many fucking friends to pick from, and I get stuck with him.
You get stuck with Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, we're talking. I don't remember the exact conversation.
Were you like, what's up with the outfit?
I may have been,
Yeah.
but I don't think Jerry Lawler was brought up at that point. But wrestling was, and I was a huge wrestling fan. I mean, I knew shit about wrestling that other kids my age shouldn't know.
Like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, like I was like a wealth of knowledge when it came to wrestling. I knew so much shit, and then I met him, and this fucking kid,
Yeah.
put me to like I was like, whoa, like
Yeah.
I know everything. How do you know more than everything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember my mom. I was in like 3rd grade. My mom was like, "Yeah, he could tell you every wrestler's social security number." I mean, I knew so much stuff that other kids shouldn't know about wrestling, and yeah, so that's what really formed our friendship, wrestling.
Yeah.
You know.
How did you guys find out all the dirt sheets back then? Like, I wouldn't even know how to get that access.
The first time 95, I was subscribed to the Pro Wrestling Torch because I would always get the wrestling magazines. I lived right behind a Wawa, so like a convenience
So
store.
he's 12 years old at this time.
I lived right behind a
now you're talking about the wrestling magazines. It wasn't the Observer.
the
yet.
After Mags. They call them.
Yeah.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Inside Wrestling. There was one called Wrestling World.
So, sorry to cut you off. You know Dave Cantwell, right?
Yeah.
Dave. So Dave's college roommate is Bill Apter's son.
Oh wow.
Like,
Okay.
Dave Cantwell knows Bill Apter,
Wow.
which is crazy. Yeah.
And one of them had an ad for the Pro Wrestling Torch, and it's like no more than everybody in this picture is like a picture of a wide shot of a wrestling crowd. I'm like, ooh, I want to know more. I mean, I knew at that point like it was predetermined
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But then at that point I was getting the dirt sheet, so I was learning more that way, and then that rolls into the internet, and then you can just find anything.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was I started going to. So before ECW started, there was a company called TWA in Philly, and that's where the Sandman was. Like Bam Bam Bigelow wrestled Abdullah the Butcher. Like I saw them at St. John Newman High School having the match where they busted, like one of them busted the other one's head over a water fountain. I don't know how they probably, you know, obviously paid to get it fixed, or they just let it go.
Or they just never came back.
Because they got kicked out of Briarcliff Fieldhouse after they put a hole in the floor. Yeah. We saw lots of wrestling matches there. We'll get into that another time. But for me, I just started going to all these different like local events. Like I was going to indie shows when I was 11, and then TWA ended up. Did it become ECW?
No, the money guy behind it stopped, and then Todd Gordon, who was the original owner of ECW, was one of the investors, and he just started his own thing after TWA went belly up.
So he started ECW as Eastern Championship Wrestling, and that was right down the street from me.
Wow.
So that was at Swanson and Rittner, and I, at the time, was living at 4th and Rittner. So I would just walk right down Rittner Street.
It's like 4 blocks, right?
Yeah, and I would just, because it was Swanson, and then it was like front, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And I would just walk right down the street, and then I was going to early ECW events, like where Jimmy Snuka was wrestling Taz and all these people. So I started really just literally being behind the scenes and talking to different wrestlers and stuff. So, and then I started, like, I was picking up the magazine. I was picking up the magazines in the 80s, though.
Yeah.
And when you pick them up, you pick things up.
Yeah.
You know?
So for me, I was always very, so my dad was really big, like I was obviously the first kid, so he was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do all this cool stuff. So he was like, anything I'm into, I'm just gonna make him, like, I'll get the fan club subscriptions. Like that was like the late 80s, early 90s thing, because I'm 86. So my dad would be like, I'm gonna get you the fan club thing for this and that and this. So I remember I had like Michael Jordan, Rusty Wallace, Washington Redskins, and Hulk Hogan stuff all over the house, and I had no idea what any of those things were. And my dad just like, this is Michael Jordan, and he plays the sport that you would know as basketball. Like, so that was how I was introduced by basketball. Like, this is Michael Jordan, and he kicks ass in this sport. Like, that was like
right.
Like, this is Hulk Hogan, and he is the best of world wrestling. And the fun thing is when I started watching wrestling, I didn't like Hulk Hogan. I was not a Hulk Hogan fan.
Okay.
I always gravitated to the bad guy. Always.
Razor Ramon?
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't even Razor yet, but we are. I like how you guys both. This is like I said, you guys are like you guys are like soulmates.
By the way, we have a thing. We only touch once a year.
Yes.
Okay.
We touch literally once a year, except for that.
Yeah.
That's twice a year. New Year's, we shake hands, and that's our tradition.
Yep, that's it. And then we don't touch. No bodily contact.
No fucking
really?
contact.
Not even
Seriously.
like a hug.
No.
See, I'm a hugger. I'm a.
And I would hug you, but the thing is people already think we're gay.
Yeah.
So if we hugged, it would just be like, it would cement their
yeah.
like fucking clearly.
Yeah.
They're gay.
Yeah, they've been with each other
Not
so
that
long.
there's anything wrong.
So we're like, you think we're gay? Once a year we touch.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's each other's penises.
Yes.
Tummy sticks.
That's how we shake with penises. Where are you from?
It's a Philly thing.
By the way, he's wearing an atheist shirt. I see a colander over there. Can he wear that on his head?
I almost wore my Flying Spaghetti Monster shirt.
So yeah, I would watch. That's how I got into wrestling. So I was really into the Macho Man Randy Savage. He was the first guy, hence my beer glass hair. But I was Macho Man was my first guy. Then I really liked Roddy Piper, and then my first tag team was the Rockers, which is weird because they were kind of good guys. But that was I liked the Rockers because like my dad was like an '80s metal guy, like music, so I kind of gravitated toward that. But I remember we'd buy the like if I couldn't get the WWE magazines, my mom, because like she didn't know any better, so she was like, I got you Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I'd go through it, and at the time I couldn't really read, or it wasn't like a big reader. I would just look through the photos and be like, I don't know any of these fucking guys, and I just remember always seeing like there would be like 1 or 2 colored photos in it. And almost every time it was a colored photo, it would be Ric Flair bleeding like a pig. And I'm like, whoever this old guy is with white hair, he bleeds a lot.
For a while, Vince wouldn't let them photograph around his shows, so that's why they would really push the NWA people. But it made me think, like you talking about Randy Savage, one of the first times I remember really getting in a lot of trouble with my parents. I have one sister. She's 7 years older than me, so I'm probably about like 4 or 5. I'm probably 5, and she's like 11. I can't do math. It's 12. She's probably 12. And
she's much older than that.
Yeah, she's older than that. Much older than that, Mel, yeah. So I somehow climbed up on the banister at the bottom of the steps. She was laying on the floor watching TV. And I jumped off the banister with a flying elbow and got in a lot of trouble.
When you were a kid, did wrestling? You guys were. See, I was like the Santa Claus is real wrestling fan for the longest time. So you guys seem like you were out of that really early because of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember when people like, I had family members and like people who like we'd go places and they were like proud to tell me like as a kid like what you're watching is not real.
Well, people love doing that.
They still do it.
Yeah.
They still do it to me, and I'm like, movies are fake.
Yeah,
right?
and then I would be like, I remember a kid like, yeah, I knew that. And they're like, do you still like it? And I was like, well, yeah.
When I was a kid, that wasn't really a thing too much.
Mm-hmm.
The thing when I was like, that I like my earliest memories of people giving me shit about was the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior's dead. His brother took his place.
Yeah, I never bought that.
Legends,
that was like the big thing. But
it was either his brother or Kerry Von Erich. They would say.
This
podcast is all wrestling.
The Tornado Tag Podcast, part 2.
Honestly, any chat room I would go into, like if I was making a joke, it was usually like a wrestling reference, and I'm like, fuck, like I can't keep doing this because not everybody gets the wrestling reference. You know what I mean? Like there might be some fat guy, and I'm like, look at Bastion Booger over here or some shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And you had that same thing with Murder My Dude because every show does have some kind of wrestling reference in there.
That became the gimmick.
Yeah.
The gimmick was we're going to make a wrestling reference in every episode.
Well, it's funny because I listen to your show all the time, and when you guys do it, I'll be like, oh, wrestling reference, and then you guys call it out in your show. And then I think last episode of Bangin' Beers, we're sitting there talking, and every time a wrestling reference came, I'd be like, oh, wrestling reference. Like, I call them out, and the people are like, oh, my God, they're probably annoyed by it, but I don't care. I think it's funny. But anyway, so I remember the first time I watched wrestling, and I still thought it was real. I was super into it. I was invested. And I cried, like hysterically cried. I thought Macho Man was dead.
Oh, okay.
The snake spot, the cobra.
I was at that point. I'm already like 11 years old. Yeah. Now that's the age of my oldest son. My oldest son is going to be he's going to be 12 next month.
Yeah.
At that point, I knew
whoever's vibrating, we got to cut the vibrate. I'm just going to double check it's not me.
It's not me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was me.
Wasn't me. I'll put my phone in my pocket so you can't keep yelling at us, Tony.
All right, sorry.
It was probably you.
No, it's not. That wasn't me. It happened to me once where I blamed Andy and it was me.
No, it wasn't. Nothing. My phone. There was nothing like no notifications on my phone.
Yeah, I got nothing.
My oldest son's gonna be 12. That's the age that I was when I knew wrestling. I mean, I knew wrestling was fake for years, but I still bought into things because it was that like. What is it called? Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
I wanted to still kind of just get lost, in wrestling, and God, man, there were people like I was like, oh, I do not trust that guy, and I hated Macho Man.
Really?
Yeah, I felt the same way. But like the way I felt about him, I felt about like Dangerous Danny Davis and like
anybody that turned heel.
Yeah,
basically.
like Luger, people like that.
So I think the reason I gravitated more towards the bad guys because I always thought that the good guys were super predictable, and I maybe like I still fall into that trap now where I watch wrestling. Like when we watch SummerSlam, and I was like, they're like everyone like I hated it. I'm like, I'm kind of come to expect that's what a WWE pay-per-view is what
Who
we got.
hated SummerSlam?
A lot of people did. Like the internet, like from what I was reading, no one really liked it.
People are stupid, and
but to me, SummerSlam was as predictable as Mania. Like going into that, I could pretty much tell you who. Like I mean, I didn't do great in my pick'em sheet because I tried to pick a few like flashy ones that maybe take a lead. But I knew picking them that they were going to not win.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked the pay-per-view a lot.
I get the argument that it didn't feel like the second biggest show of the year, but it was still a good show.
So that's what I said to Brian. I go, something's missing. This doesn't feel like. What did I say? What was the
like summer? It doesn't feel special.
Yeah, but there was the word I use. I forget. Like
the biggest one for me is when AJ and Ricochet were in the ring, and we're going to cover all this on Thursday too. we'll quickly segue.
I won't be here Thursday.
Yeah,
so.
But I felt like if that AJ Ricochet match had happened in any other company, any other planet, NXT, any other ring, it would have been a different match. It would have felt different.
I thought it felt great. I loved it. I thought
it was good, but I thought like it didn't have like the like an NXT feel where people are super vested and it was a good.
Yeah, because it wasn't an NXT crowd.
Yeah,
I think the crowd makes it's like a hoagie, right? Yeah. My dad always said the bread makes the sandwich.
Yeah,
you know, you can't just put fucking meat on a ciabatta bun and call it a hoagie.
100%.
So, but what I said was that Ricochet match left me wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched that and I go, oh, shit, dude, I need that. What he said about the what was the women's match?
Bayley and Ember Moon. It was 12 minutes of a great 25-minute match.
Yeah, it was cut like it was good. I thought it was good. I liked it. Did you like?
I liked it, but I knew she wasn't going to. But I'm very high in Ember Moon.
Very high.
I love her.
Yeah, I would
love her.
I get 2 free passes in the world, and Ember Moon's one of them.
All right, this is a different show.
Yeah.
This is fucking weird.
This is sex, my dude.
Yeah, weird open relationship shit, my dude.
Swinger, my dude. No. Is that the term? Swing?
With people.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, your friendship has blossomed over professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Hence, we're all huge wrestling nerds. I actually asked Brian. I said, "You guys seem like you're a group of like 2 friends who like." You remind me of me and my one friend Billy. Like we're friends and we have a really good bond. But the reason we became friends is because our parents were friends. And then I found out that it was more or less like you guys met each other and then kept this friendship going.
Yeah.
And then you guys kind of as you grew up, you moved away then, right? Or you?
We both did.
Well, it depends on where we're going at this point of our timeline.
Yeah.
Of what we're. Well, we'll go ahead. Where are you going with this?
So I'm just saying, like, when you didn't you move before your childhood home, or did you guys grow up to a certain age and then say, "Hey, I'm moving," and you're like, "Oh, well, I'll move with you." Like, you became roommates.
So, when I was 20, I got kicked out of my house.
I didn't know that.
And I moved into his house.
Oh, okay.
Because he lived down the street.
Yeah.
So our street, it was a big street. I was in the middle of the street. He was on the very end. And,
very beginning, actually.
Very beginning. Yeah, I say the end, the beginning, whatever.
It was a dead end street, so.
So I moved in with him, and then like from there, I would go down. My grandpa lived a couple houses down from me. I would go to my grandpa's house. I would just bounce around, but it was always, close.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 2005,
2004,
2000. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was later. No, when your mom was moving.
Oh, 2006.
It was 2000. Okay, 2006. Yeah. His mom was moving down to Tennessee.
Okay,
Tennessee. And when she was moving, I just so happened to be moving at the same time. I was going up to New York because my dream was to be a filmmaker. Now, we started writing scripts and shit at 19, like when I was 19.
I was 16, yeah. We did a screenplay when I was 16.
Yeah, we wrote a screenplay. He was 16, I'm 19. This is 1999. Our podcasts and stuff like that started in other forms of entertainment, in 99. That's where it started.
I think the first time I actually tried a podcast was like 01, 02, something like that. They weren't even called podcasts then.
Yeah. They were
just internet radio shows.
shows.
Have you ever tried, because obviously the filming equipment and stuff, it's not, it's a lot harder to do and do in that budget, but there are podcasts that are very successful and they just literally tell a story each episode.
We'll get into that later on how Murder My Dude started.
Yeah,
we'll get into that later.
So then about 2006 comes along. We talked. You're a big Howard Stern fan.
Yes,
we were O&A fans.
Yes,
so we were Opie and Anthony fans through and through at that time. He's actually at that point kind of like O&A or meh, but earlier than that, like he got me into it. Most of the shit that I got into, it was because of him.
Yeah,
like he was into it first, except for Mitch Hedberg. I was into Hedberg first, got him into it. Anyway, so I become friends with these people who were like radio show regulars for like for Ron and Fez, who were another radio group that were affiliated with Opie and Anthony, and I became friends with them through this chat room, through Opie and Anthony's chat room on a thing called Pal Talk. And so basically we started hanging out with them and going up to New York, and
we'd go for like weekends all the time.
Yeah, we would go up to like Long Island, hang out so it's me, him, this guy Mike Grimm, and this dude Scott, and we called ourselves the Four Horsemen. And like all of our pictures at that point are us throwing up the 4.
Every single time I have a group of friends, it's everyone. It's we're the clique.
You can look at old pictures of us too, where we're throwing up the too sweet. So too sweet, me bro.
It's awesome because like Eddie Collins, who's in Crowbot, he gets pictures with fans like in Europe, and it's, I mean, obviously it's not for me but like we have, every time we see each other, like he'd be on stage, I'd be like this, and he'll throw one back, but like he'll get a picture with somebody in like Europe, and he's getting like a picture, and everyone's like, hey, and he's like,
so that's funny you say that. My our buddy Pat that we ended up living with, there's a picture I just found that we're at a bar and it's packed, and this is in New York City, and this is 2006, and Pat's throwing up the too sweet sign like to somebody else. And who the fuck was throwing it up in 2006?
This is pre-Bullet Club.
But Bullet Club made it big.
It was
again.
NWO.
NWO did it, but nobody was really doing it.
well, the Clique was doing it at the curtain call
Early, but that's like 95.
Yeah.
We're talking like...
We're in the dead zone for that, Justin.
Yeah, right. After NWO, in between NWO...
See, I was always in the too sweet, though, 'cause obviously I'm a huge...
Were you doing it between NWO and Bullet Club? Like
yes.
Early 2000s when like nobody else was doing it at that point?
It was too sweet. I was the Clique. It was the Clique.
Yeah, so he's... There's a picture of Pat doing it. It was like 2006. Yeah, he's throwing up the too sweet. So I end up going in there and actually living with the family. And like I was kind of like a live-in nanny for these people because we would go up there and I was like, listen, I want to come up there. I want to live up there for a film. We were supposed to be working with a company out of Brooklyn. And we started filming a lot of stuff. We were doing shorts. Now these things will never see the light of day.
No.
They will sit on the proverbial cutting room floor. The whole thing, everything we've ever done, video-wise, is going to sit in a drawer. I have all these tapes, too. Like, all these tapes. And you're never going to see them. Just because I'm embarrassed of them. And
why?
First of all, I'm a horrible actor, and I'm in them.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, sorry about that.
Bri, are you hungry?
A little bit. Should have grabbed something.
So that's how we ended up moving up there. And then I got a girl pregnant. And didn't really focus too much on the film thing because now I'm a dad, you know.
Yeah.
And so I left, and he ends up just still living with that family because So when we moved up there, I was like, hey, my buddy, can Brian come? Well, they knew who Brian was because Brian would tag along with me. I was like, can Brian, come up? Can he move in? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we shared the basement. We kind of like rented the basement from them. Well, he did. He paid rent, but I was like the live-in nanny that wasn't getting paid. I'm watching their kid, but not getting paid for it. You know what I mean? And they wanted me to pay them, and I was like, I'm watching your kid,
like a bartering system.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I got this girl pregnant and ended up moving in with her. I moved to New York. Now I'm outside of like Sleepy Hollow at this point, and then anyway, time goes by, 5 years, something like that?
Yeah, about 5 years.
And then we end up moving. I split with my ex, and my mom was near where you live.
Ashland.
Yeah,
right,
she was in Ashland. So
now, are you guys both very close with each other's families because you've grown up like your entire lives with each other?
No.
Like, are you close with his family because you were living there? And then,
I was close with his mom.
Yeah. And then like he's close with your family because of like, or was it always close like that?
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if there was, I'm not doing the whole gay thing, but like
no.
But like,
there was a little falling out. There was a falling out between him and my mom. And stuff.
Okay.
So we moved here. We lived at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another thing. Like when I moved in, Brian came with, and I was like, dude, live here, because you can get a house for fucking cheap, and he knew that. So he was like saving his money.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things up here is when you say you're not from around here, like the first question is always, why did you move here?
Yeah.
Like that's
because it's cheap.
Yeah, and that's always my answer.
Come to Schuylkill County and buy a house.
It's cheap.
It's cheap as fuck. So he bought a house like 6 months later, whatever, 5 months later.
Yeah.
And
house in Pottsville.
Pottsville, yeah. Bought
it. We moved here in January. Got that in May that year. And it would have been in sooner, but there was like issues with the closing.
Yeah. I was close with his mom. I called his mom. Mm-hmm. Everybody called her mom. Anybody, because she worked at Wawa, and everybody. Her name was Irene, and everybody would just call her mom. There'd be like random black dudes in the like ghetto part of like it was called Darby. Mm-hmm. I mean, this area was just like real bad, and these dudes would come out, and they would see her, and most people, you know how white people start to scatter, and they're coming, and I'm just standing there with her, and they were like, "Yo, what's up, Mom?" They would just, everybody would call everybody straight.
She's a very warm person.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loved his mom. Yeah, she was great, man. And then he was, Brian lived with my family, for a bit, but there was a little bit of falling out, so.
Yeah. But yeah, so that friendship definitely, the reason I brought all that up and I wanted that to be something that people should hear is because that you could definitely see, like, when you're listening to your podcast, you could definitely see that bond, that ride or die, like you guys are you have each other's backs, like you guys can have a complete difference in opinion and it's okay. Like,
well, he's like my brother.
Exactly. There's that bond is there, and I think that, from my opinion, from the outside perspective looking in, I think that's what makes your podcast very special, because like you'll hear in the podcast, like there's sometimes where you may sway one side or the other, and he's very one side, and in normal day society, people freak out like, you don't believe what I believe, fuck that, we're no longer friends, blocking you on Facebook, and you guys are just like, oh no, you can believe that, I'm cool with it.
And he'll do that with anybody else but me.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest thing.
I do worry about that sometimes, though, like what I say, because to break down the fourth wall, Jackson Wells is me turned up. We do the Paul Heyman thing.
Yeah.
I intentionally try to play a certain way when I'm like, I don't really know about this. You're not really getting my thing, but it's a show.
Yeah.
Right.
I like when you try to play your character, like, because I was saying the same thing. I might have been saying to him, like, you try to play a character sometimes, and then like the one episode you were trying to play like you didn't know what you were talking about, and then you were getting frustrated because in your head, like, I can see your process in your head listening through my radio in my car, and you're like, actually, I just want to make this really clear. Like, I do know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to play funny.
Well, I mean, that's always something we're kind of cognizant of and concerned with, is when you're talking. It's a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
Murder might do it, mostly true crime. Sometimes we do fictional stuff, and it's hard sometimes to be funny when you're talking about, like, this past week we did Sandy Hook. There's no real way to. So the joke is, it's impossible to make a joke about this.
Yeah.
So that is something where it's a kind of a tightrope.
Even like the Pride episode, that was a deep one. There was a lot of really.
I sincerely do not want to alienate listeners. I don't want to, but I have to at some point play a character. But I'm afraid that people are so fragile these days, and this is true. This is for real. I'm afraid that people are so fragile that they will hear an opposing view and go, "Oh, well, fuck that guy," and then
you can have someone in today's times who is like, I love everything that this person's ever done, and they're like, well, I'm not really pro-Trump, and they're like, fuck him, I hate all of his movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people like will quickly throw somebody away because they have a difference of opinion, which I think is really unhealthy. It's not a...
And it's something we're extra kind of cautious of, because obviously, at least in the beginning, we're going to probably draw a lot of our audience locally.
Yeah.
And we are way to the left of most of this area.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's something we
I
try
get accused of being very left, but I'm very in the... There's some very, very far left that I listen to, and I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. And then there's some things on the very far right I listen to, I'm like, you can't be serious. Like both sides like confuse me sometimes.
I like to hear people out. Brian, I think, he's a little bit more set in his ways than I am. Yeah. I like to hear people out.
Me too. I will listen to extreme left stuff on the internet, and I will listen to extreme right stuff on the internet, and then I try to make my own determination off the middle.
I don't think I go extreme left. I definitely will not ever agree with anybody extreme right, but I don't think I'll agree with everybody extreme left either.
They're both crazy. Extreme both sides is
extreme
crazy.
Left for me is Antifa people, and we talked about this. I'm never okay with Antifa.
Yeah. I'm
not okay with anybody running up and punching somebody else because they are okay with it, or because, somebody annoyed you with something.
There is some... I wouldn't call them extreme right, but there are some right-sided journalists that I don't mind listening to.
Okay.
Are you ready to get upset? Are you ready?
No, but who do you have?
All right, so
I'm gonna get. Let's see. Is it gonna be Crowder? Is it gonna be Shapiro?
I don't mind Crowder.
I hate Crowder.
He's
a gimmick.
He's
for one
smart,
thing.
but he's a gimmick. He's
very gimmicky.
I don't like his. But I don't like. If somebody is like, well, the left, this, it's. I don't like what people on the left do about the right. This is why I don't listen to the Young Turks.
I don't like listening to him when he's in his studio. When he's in his studio, he's a lot more bold and he's a lot more brash.
He's a lot more gimmick.
And
he's Alex Jones.
But when he's doing his Change My Mind, I like the fact that he's like, hey, let's just have a legit conversation. Now
I've watched that, and they're okay. Yeah.
Now he does come with a lot of information, and he is picking on a certain demographic sometimes. But for the most part, we're not here for violence. We're not here to cause problems. And he legit has a decent conversation. And if someone doesn't believe what they say, as long as you don't start trying to pick a fight, he will have a legit conversation.
But he's very gotcha, though. He loves to do that.
Yeah.
Like gotcha journalism shit.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that from any
Shapiro, I don't really mind Shapiro too much either.
Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some things I like, and there's some things I don't. But he doesn't boil me like some other ones I watch, like the far right. They're just like,
this chair is hurting my asshole.
Is it?
Hurting my asshole.
I am very
sorry. Can we get that on a shirt? This chair is hurting my asshole. Ooh, what the fuck, man? How do you people sit here for this fucking long? Oh my god.
All right, we'll speed it up here.
No. Take your time. I mean, you know.
We'll get you.
All I know is I don't know how long these podcasts of yours go, but
are you a fan of Joe Rogan?
The majority of it has been wrestling, and the second half is going to be about how my asshole hurts right now.
So you started.
Boy, howdy, his asshole hurts.
So you started with doing some internet radio together.
Yeah,
some film together.
So 99 we started writing stuff. And then
I've always heard about from the podcast Brian's book that.
Oh my goodness,
that's later. That's much later. And this is annoying. I don't even. I hate you for bringing it up. So then, like 2000, I'm dating somebody. We always have ideas, and I think that this is what happened with Brian's book and anything else.
Oh shit! It's going man down. All right, we're back.
I'm an idea person. Yeah. I am like very childlike. I'm very optimistic. I'm like, dude, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Too.
I'm going to be 40 years old.
Yeah.
In May, I'm going to be 40. And I'm still like, dude, let's do this. Brian's, how old are you?
I'm 36.
You're 36. I'm 39. He's, at this point, he's the old like, all broken down piece of shit. Like,
I'm Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm just a beat up piece of meat.
Yeah. And I sometimes say the Vader line, I'm just a big fat piece of shit.
Yeah, I was a very, I have ideas, and then I got to the point where I was like, am I just going to keep saying I have the ideas, or am I just going to pull the fucking trigger?
Right.
So this is this podcast. Like,
and that's murder, my dude, for us. So we started, I don't know what happened, because we listen to O&A all the time. And we wanted to do...
Almost like a shock jockey, like...
Well, before that, I think we tried the Jack and Brian show.
Yeah.
We tried...
like noises like, the Jack and Brian show!
Well, we actually did have soundboards.
Yeah.
And then we did one, and we were supposed to bring in our buddy Ogie. And Ogie ends up becoming, later on in other podcasts, he becomes a character, because he kept flaking on us. And we do a show at this point called Coat Hanger Alley.
Oh.
And it was... If you get, you know what a coat hanger alley is.
Yeah.
Back alley abortions, stuff like that. So we call it Coat Hanger Alley, and we're trying to be shock jocks. This, what year is this? 2002?
2002. Yeah, 03, something like that.
Yeah. Because I remember things by who I was dating at the time.
I know, you always do that in the podcast too.
Yeah, dude. That's
You're
how
like, my ex.
Yeah, that's how I remember it.
Yeah.
Like, so that, at that point, I was dating a girl named Lisa. I remember like so much, man. But yeah, that's where it started. And then that was like 2002, 2003. Goes away. We don't do anything really. I think we tried something else. Nothing happened. We recorded a couple things.
We would write scripts. We'd always have ideas for like little animated things we could do, but we don't know how to animate stuff.
Yeah.
Like little things like that.
2005 comes around. We do the gorilla position. Now,
great. That's a great name.
Now, at this point...
It's taken now, though.
It's taken now, yeah. There's actually a popular wrestling podcast called...
It's out of the UK, yeah.
Yeah, called The Gorilla Position. Shout out to them, I guess. We had it first. We start getting wrestlers, like, interested, because they start listening. There was a wrestler named Nick Burke, who... what did he wrestle as?
He was Nick Burke in CZW. He was Nicky Benz.
Where he would wear like a powder blue like tux.
He was the Lounge Lizard.
The Lounge Lizard, Nicky Benz. He did Monday Night Raw like
he played it was after the Michael Richards thing where Michael Richards went on that racist like thing in a comedy club, and they had him up there as like a comedian's doing racial jokes, and Crime Time comes out and beats him up.
Yeah, so this dude...
I think I was checked out at that point, wrestling.
Yeah, he was listening to... Well, we never checked out.
I checked out for a little bit.
We never did.
And if I checked out, it was a couple months, but then, you know...
I checked out for 2004 till about 2011.
That would have been during this time frame.
Okay, wow, that's a...
UFC. I was a big mixed martial arts guy.
We would do both. Yeah. We would do all of it. So yeah, so we're doing that. It's 2005, and then we moved 2006, and then we started the Cheap Shot,
which is like a wrestling MMA hybrid,
and that was fun. We have some videos actually of Brian and all.
It's crazy because if you try to mix MMA and UFC now, people get really fucking upset about it.
People get upset about everything. You got to ignore them. You know what I mean?
They get really upset about it. Like, how dare you even put MMA in the same talk?
Yeah, how dare you? Even though Frank Mir, not Frank Mir, did Frank Mir?
Yeah, he was in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Yeah, he did it. Josh Barnett,
Minoru. There's tons of them.
Brock
Lesnar, Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson.
Fucking go back. Ken Shamrock. Who's the dude with the mustache?
Dan Severn.
Dan Severn did it.
Tank Abbott.
Speaking of my mom would always call him Ted Shamrock.
They all did wrestling because they all love wrestling.
Daniel Cormier's a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah, and fuck anybody that
Chael Sonnen's a big wrestling fan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some of the most favorite guys in UFC who were the biggest shit talkers, they all attribute their shit talking from WBA.
Conor McGregor. Yeah. He's doing Ric Flair.
Yeah. And Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon. Yeah.
He does the McMahon walk. He just
Chael Sonnen says I try to be Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he would literally take lines.
He takes lines from Billy Graham.
Billy Graham, the spoiler,
And he literally, we've gone back and watched old tapes and shit.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm the bad guy. You know why they don't call it toothbrush in Brazil? Because they only got one tooth. They should just call it they don't call it teeth brush in Brazil. They call it a toothbrush.
That's a West Virginia joke.
Yeah, he said it about Brazil. He was crazy. But yeah, so you guys are doing these podcasts, and then Murder My Dude comes about.
Way later.
All right, I'm jumping way too far ahead.
08, when we were in New Jersey, we did the Cheap Shot. That lasted about maybe 13, 14 episodes. We had a co-host. We'd make him hold a tag rope. We just did a lot of fun.
When he would talk, he had to hold the tag rope
and tag
in to talk. And then we had video that would accompany the like we would talk about like all this stuff, and then we'd have a video that would accompany it. Yeah, his name was Ben. And
he went on to do like a fairly long running wrestling podcast too.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was fun. It was one of the most fun things I'd ever done.
But at that point, your son was very young, and it was like a lot of time away from him too. So.
Yeah, so I was like, you know,
no, you're saying I had to take a break. You had to pull away from it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Family life was a little bit more important than podcasting. And then at that point, I had a falling out with Ben because I argue with everyone, and Brian will just let everything roll off his back. You know, what happened was we wanted Ben to do something in a bit, like in this skit for video, and he was training to fight Muhammad Ali, which is funny because we went to Muhammad Ali's training camp.
It's so much fun.
It's right.
Fighters heaven.
But the bit was I was
visit this in Oregon,
and this is in 2008. I was calling out Muhammad Ali. The bit is, why would you do that? He is ill. You're just being ridiculous and insensitive.
And he was like, I could totally beat Muhammad Ali. So he's training to fight Ali, and then we were gonna have him dressed like Lil Mac.
I was gonna get a pink like jogging suit,
and we were gonna have Ben dress up as Doc, and he would be on the bike. Now the thing is,
were you gonna go blackface?
Well, yeah, but not blackface.
Okay,
not straight up black. It was like brown, like. Because you can't, if you're playing a character and the dude's dark, you got to go dark. If somebody was tan, you know, if it's a white guy and he's tan, you're gonna, tan your skin up.
You know what's crazy about dark blackface and whiteface? To me,
I wouldn't do it today, by the way, because everybody's so sensitive.
It's funny. It's funny both ways. But the only people that are allowed to do it are people that are famous. Like if you're just a dude
nowadays,
famous people can't. The one girl dressed like Crazy. Was there Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black.
It depends. Now, like if you're Always Sunny in Philadelphia, no one cares. If you're Robert Downey Jr., nobody cares. If you're Dave Chappelle,
I don't think Robert Downey Jr.
He couldn't do it
now.
Today. He couldn't do Tropic. He could not do Tropic Thunder today. But
if
that movie would have no shot today with that and the Ben story.
They're making White Girls too.
That's fine.
It's okay because it's black people doing white people, and it's not, they'll argue that it's not the same thing, because what they'll argue is it's not making fun of white people. It's them portraying. It's a stupid argument that it doesn't make any sense.
It's the whole punching down thing. If you're doing blackface, you're punching down.
I understand the way that people were upset back in the day. That the reason they did blackface is because they refused to hire black actors.
Right, and that's dumb.
And that is fucked up.
Yeah. That was straight up like black with the
pink
red
lips.
Yeah, that is not what we were
like
doing.
when Dee Reynolds dresses up as the black news anchor. It's hilarious on Always Sunny. It's,
right, like Soul. What was this Soul?
Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell.
Couldn't do it today. Yeah. You could not do that today.
Always Sunny, maybe they can get away with it because they can kind of do whatever because it's that show. South Park gets away with a lot because it's a cartoon.
Yeah, there's so many shows that have carte blanche to do what they want to do. If you know, good luck if we tried doing something like that.
Right.
Like if I tried to do that cheap shot bit today, so many people on the left.
Like the funniest thing we ever produced or ever came up with, we know we could never do it because it's making fun of racial stereotypes.
That's another thing through. You good over there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening. Sorry.
Are you?
Yeah. I had something.
But so yeah, we did some shows.
Came up. We gotta go.
We did some shows after Ben left because Ben left after that because he didn't want to do the blackface thing. It was like a falling out. But then
and it would have been an argument today. I would have been like, okay, cool. You don't want to do that. That's fine. I know. But at that point, because I didn't see what he was upset about, because he's a New York Jew, and when I say that, I mean because they're a little ahead of the curve when it comes to
that's inappropriate.
What's PC or what's not PC, and I was an O&A fan.
Yeah,
and he was an O&A fan too. I don't know how the heck he got.
I think there's two different types of people on the planet that we don't talk enough about that just gets shit on, and it's like kind of like socially okay to shit on them. I think the Jews are definitely in that category where people just like throw that out there like it's cool because they're Jews. Like the Jew jokes go crazy. And Asians, like it's just okay to fucking diminish Asian people all the time, like as people. Like I joke around my wife because it's like, and we talk about it in person. Like it is kind of fucked up how Asians get fucking the short end of the stick.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Like if you can like she gets it all the time like where she's in public places and she'll be like someone orders Chinese and they'll be like, oh, you ordered the fucking Chinese fries? And she'll be like, really?
I can buy that up here, especially.
Yeah, and she'll be like, that's not cool. And they're like, dude, it's cool. They're Asian.
Let
like,
me
it's
tell
just
you,
like, no, it's not. Like
when we were younger, and this is probably early 2000s, we would order Chinese food. And we would call an order, and I would be like, can I get a, I don't know, like sesame chicken, this, that, the other, a quart of Paul Fry rye, like orange chicken. But I would say Paul Fry rye like that. And we would laugh because when I would say a quart of Paul Fry rye, they knew exactly what I was saying because that's how the Chinese people say pork fried rice.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious to do that.
Yeah.
I feel that it's so stupid and insensitive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that because if somebody did that to like, my kids or my family or something like that or my friends, I'd be like, who the fuck are you?
Heidi had this experience one time because people don't know she's Asian. And like the one time she was at a place and they were like, you know what though, like out of everything, I'm not racist, but I fucking can't stand Asian people. And Heidi's like, oh, I'm Asian. They're like, good one, see ya. And because they think she's Hispanic. And then she's like, no, I'm seriously Asian. Like, dude, you're so funny. Like, I can't believe you have such a good sense of humor. And they walk away. Like, they don't believe her. And she's like, yo, like, she's like, it's like, oh, it's kind of okay. Like, she's not saying woe is me and like she has it worse than anybody else, but she's like, they don't do that to like anyone else, like openly to their face. Like every other race gets made fun of, but it's behind closed doors. But it's like okay to openly do it to like an Asian person's face. Like
what I found out with race and stuff like that is it's not so. It can be broken down. Like she was saying, it doesn't happen, but it does happen to other people because here's what happens after like Asians and then Hispanics and blacks and whoever, then it starts to become like Irish and Italian or something like that. It breaks down like that. Then it'll go into neighborhoods like, oh, you're from fucking DC or you're from you're a Redskin or sports. It'll break down to different things because people need to be in some kind of bubble or they need some kind of pack mentality.
Yeah.
So it's easy to make fun of anybody. You know, oh, you're fat. Oh, you have red hair.
That one too, yeah. Because I noticed that with the Sesame Place thing that happened last week with that lady who was like telling the woman in the hijab to go back to where she came from.
Yeah, that's such an ugly thing right now.
The Twitter comments on that from like the left, it's like these people are supposed to be so woke and so progressive, and it's like, doesn't that lady know there's a Planet Fitness down the street from Sesame Place? Like, once that's like cemented as a bad person, the fat jokes can be like teed off on like. Yeah. No problem.
I actually got one. You weren't at this week's show, but when Andy and Ben came to talk about, they went to the gym, and there's some guy there. I don't know who he is. They say he knows me, and they're like, "Oh, you know Tony?" And they're like, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, I'll tell you what. I don't. Tony, he's a ugly fat piece of shit, but I can't believe how he has such a hot wife. He must have a big dick." And I was just like,
"Thanks."
That's fucked up, but all right. Like, and they said like he was like going hard, like, what an ugly fucking guy. His wife is so hot. Like, I was like, God damn.
There's been a couple times where I dated a couple girls. I remember this one girl. I'm going to give her Stephanie. She was this Italian girl from South Philly. Now, at the time, I'm living outside of South Philly. We're living in Collington. I'm living on the same street as him. Mm-hmm. And I'm dating this girl, and she was fucking good looking too. And I remember my friend Ian going, how? Like, dude, she is out of your league. Like, she's too good for you. And I'm like, what kind of friend are you?
Yeah, that's so fucked up to say.
You know what I mean? Like, you're too fat for her. Like, this is the shit that he's saying to me. Mm-hmm. Ian always gave me shit about. As a matter of fact, Ian's from. So he lives in this town, Sharon Hill. When I moved up here, I found out that he was friends with Jay Bird.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was telling you this in the car, and like Meatball and all those guys from Cyanide Sunrise, and yeah, he was friends with them. And I was like, how the fuck do you know these people?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in Pottsville, dude? Mm-hmm. Like, this is fucking weird.
All right, let's steer this back on.
Yeah, to get back into like how Murder My Dude came about.
That's what happens a lot in this podcast. We take side tags.
When we moved here, in 2012, and I had just stopped. I kind of like thrown in the towel on writing, and we didn't really do anything like that for a while, and then Jack started getting a lot closer with his buddy Nate, who is now doing a show on our Project Humanoid
Actually,
Network.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to bring it back. That's not true. You were writing your book. Because 2011, I shot. Yeah,
2011. When I was writing the books. 2012,
I shot a video, and that was the last time I threw in the towel for videos. 2011, because he was writing his book, and we did like a kind of like a
book trailer,
like a book trailer, and that was the last thing I shot, and then we moved up here because that was like August, September, around that time that we filmed that, and then that January 2012 is when we moved, because my ex and I split like right around that time, and then we moved, and then
we didn't really do a whole lot for a while. I was just kind of like, this was the first time I was like really responsible for everything, so that was kind of like an overload for a while, like having my own house, things like that. But then, him and Nate started doing podcasts with them, with like just those two. They started doing one called Smoke Wagon about like Western stuff, 2 Past Midnight about horror. And then when those
I tried starting up the Macabre Club.
And that was going to be like a scripted podcast. But then we had an idea for another scripted podcast around this time last year. It was going to be called like Banana Detectives or Banana Dicks.
It was going to be called Banana Dicks.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell we were riffing one day, and somehow Banana Dicks comes up, right? So you would think like a penis, like a banana dick, but it was like, I don't know how the fuck we.
It was like going to be a scripted thing about these guys who have a fake podcast, and the fake podcast was called Murder My Dude, and their podcast is basically they're going to help people. They either solve like crimes or come up with alternate theories, for crimes in movies. And this one guy wants them to find somebody that had dated him and then just kind of disappeared. Okay. Ghosted him, essentially.
So they're like, dude, we sit here in our chairs and we solve TV show crimes. Like, we'll watch an episode, like this is what the show's about. We watch like an episode of Monk and try to figure out who, whatever, or Psych, and try to figure out who the killer is or whatever. And this guy wants them to like do real stuff, and it's loosely based on our characters.
Yeah.
So the one guy, the characters were Rollins and Bosco, and so Rollins is based after me, and Bosco's based after him. And Bosco's like, nah, we don't want to do it. And Rollins is like, come on, dude, we're detectives, or we can play detective. And he's like, yeah, And then finally he's okay with it, and they go on to, to whatever, help this guy. So this is the show. It was like an audio drama that we wanted to do, like a fake, like true crime.
Yeah, like a serial thing,
almost like a
Town is one. There's a bunch of them now. It's like a scripted fictional podcast. Mm-hmm. And we wrote it up, and we never really did anything with it. And eventually we were like, why don't we just do Murder My Dude? Because I'm really into true crime. I watch Investigation Discovery and things like that, or read books about it. I read I'll Be Gone in the Dark and shit like that. And so we're like, yeah, let's just do Murder My Dude. And this is the one that stuck, by far. We're on 31 episodes now, so it's the one that we've done by far the longest.
They said if you get through, I think the number's 10. If you could finish 10 episodes of something, you're more likely to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised we stuck around this, but I'm not actually. I'm not. If you look at what we've done before, you could say, I'm surprised that we stuck around this, but I'm proud of us for sticking around this long. It's I'm kind of like, because knowing we pretty much just not gave up on everything, but gave up.
Yeah.
Now Brian, with the book and stuff, he did this series, and I thought it was awesome. I loved it. I started doing the artwork for the covers and stuff, which I still want to redo it.
What's the book about?
It's a mystery. It's about a guy who kind of pretends to be his dad. His dad is a private investigator, and he winds up falling for this girl at first sight, and pretends to be his dad and tries to help solve her case. It's a traditional private eye book, but with a more comedic bent.
And I'm gonna Dr. Philly. Why'd you give up on it?
Took my shot and missed.
He didn't take a shot.
Is it finished?
Yeah, it's totally finished.
Is it out there? Did you put it out there?
I did for a while. It's not out there now.
He put it out there, but it's just like our podcast. He expects it to
overgrow overnight.
Yeah, and to kind of promote itself, and that's not how things work.
Yeah.
He admits that he's bad at promoting things. Yeah. He's awful at marketing.
And the other thing that really got me with the book is editing.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to edit your own writing, and I don't have the money to hire an editor. So,
but there are
just going through the books and seeing the errors.
Couldn't you that Grammarly that everyone's going crazy for?
I've tried Grammarly.
You could buy Grammarly, and there's a premium edition that you could pay for a month, and it'll literally it'll proofread a whole thing for you.
It's not foolproof. And there's certain style.
But the thing is about Brian is you could look at other books that are worse than his, and people are like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep going until I make some money to then get a thing. Brian is not that. He's like
perfectionist.
Oh, I'm awful. I'm the drizzling shits. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. If I'm not great, it's not. And I'm like, dude, no, you can't be that way.
And it's just so much time and effort and energy, and then you would just see something wrong and just be like, okay, all that energy and it's still bad.
You gotta it's like comedy. You gotta keep going. This is why he could never be a stand-up comedian. He could be, because he could have the material. He could be funny enough, but if people booed him, that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
If somebody booed him, he would just walk off the stage and go, well, I'm awful because they booed.
Yeah.
Forgetting that every fucking huge comedian.
And it's even worse with the writing, because the reception of the book was good. People liked it. The people who read it liked it. But I had problems with it, and I'm the only one that gets a vote. So
and that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not a fair thing.
You should try making an audiobook of it.
We actually talked about that because we were going to have Nate, our buddy who does the intro, the Project Humanoid, sounder or whatever in the very beginning.
Put sound effects to it.
And he's
no, he was going to read. He was going to. But the thing is what I was kind of not against, but I was like, because it's his stuff. I just give him my input. Nate has a very Midwestern sound, and if we're talking about somebody that's East Coast, it sounds strange having a Midwest voice, unless they're trying to put on a New York or Philly type accent, and it'll sound so fake and forced and weird. But maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
If
I wouldn't throw it away yet.
I would have to talk him into it though.
Yeah, I think if you keep talking about it on your podcast, for me, I feel like
no, we've had this argument millions of times.
I feel like I've become invested in you guys, and there's so many things that I've learned about you. Then when we actually talk, and then you tell me about it, I'm like, yeah, I know that already. You're like, well, how? And I was we were driving in the car. I'm like, oh, I know about it. He goes, well, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like, dude, I know more about you than you think I do because I listen to every one of your episodes. Like I've become like vested, and like that's what I'm saying. Like I came to work the next day, I'm like, so what's up with this book? And you're like, oh God, you know what I mean? Like I think like if people actually listen to any podcast, like if you put enough time into something, you're gonna become a fan of that person. You're gonna be invested in what they're talking about and what they're doing. And I just think I think I wouldn't count it out. I think if you keep growing the way you're growing, I think more people will dive into it. So the Murder My Dude, like the biggest premise is, let's kind of break down the process of your show and what goes into it.
So it like I said, or like he said, it started out. It was going to be fiction, part of it was going to be a show within a show. It was going to be part of Banana Dicks, which, by the way, we still want to do.
Yeah. At
some point, we still want to do like this. We're come up with a different name. The fake show within that thing, the fake show instead of being Murder My Dude, is now going to be called Banana Dicks, and the overall podcast will
Why
be
don't like season
else.
3? Your banana
No. This is going to be just a scripted,
offshoot,
it's going to be a scripted thing, and it'll have nothing to do with Murder My Dude. Just we stole the name from ourselves.
Yeah.
So we forgot another podcast we wanted to do called Pedantic.
Yeah.
But spelled poddantic, like for podcast.
Yeah.
Where
we did like 1 or 2 episodes of that too.
We tried so many different podcasts, you know. You're like, oh, like you just throw shit at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
We were gonna do Pedantic, and that kind of became Murder My Dude. Because I think Pedantic was gonna end up morphing into more of like a true crime thing. But when we were like, yeah, let's just do Murder My Dude. We like the name, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like done with everything. He's like, I'm done. I don't want to do anything. And I pitched Murder My Dude to him. I was like, dude, let's just do Murder My Dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then a week later, I didn't say anything. A week later, he goes, man, I keep thinking about Murder My Dude.
The way to get me to do something is to make me think it's my idea. That's really what it is.
Actually, I'm going to grab something real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, good. Can I stand up? Because my fucking asshole hurts.
Sure. I mean, we're still rolling.
Oh, well, can we cut this part out?
Probably not.
No, we don't do that here.
We don't edit video here?
No.
Oh.
We keep it rolling here. You gonna chair shot yourself?
You have no idea what's behind that chair. He just doesn't want people to see the Murder My Dude t-shirt.
Yeah, he's not trying to advertise himself. It's a wide angle lens. I still got you. I'm joking. All right, so speaking of that, so like the biggest thing for my show here is I always say, man, I wish I had more feedback, like comments and let me know what's going on. Like everyone,
Yeah, we want that too. Yeah.
everyone's always like, man, I like this, and I kind of want someone to say, here's what I don't like, and I
don't like is where are the snacks?
We'll get when we break here real quick because we're almost done this. We'll break and we'll get into some snacks and stuff. So I did the thing called the box, and it was a couple of questions.
I remember the box. You would
Yeah.
like order videos. It was
Yeah,
It was a different box.
yeah. So, and I got rid of it because I felt like no one watched it, and then I was told you should just sneak it in the episodes because it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask you a couple questions here. We'll finish this episode, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break. Mm-hmm. We're gonna reset up because they want to do some different things here with the mics, and we're gonna do a Murder My Dude episode here, and it's gonna be the first Murder My Dude that's gonna be filmed, and we're gonna sneak it onto the end of this episode, and then the audio portion you could hear on Murder My Dude streaming site. So this will be the end of our audio. So if you enjoyed this and you want to hear, me on a Murder My Dude episode, go check them out on Murder My Dude, projecthumanoid.com.
I think this is what this was all about because Tony's our #1 fan.
Yes.
And he just wanted to do a Murder My Dude episode.
Yeah, and I want to cross promote. Like, I think this is good for you guys. Like, if people like what I'm doing, I really want them to, like, definitely get into this.
What I'm afraid is somebody's going to go, does that guy talk that much on his own show?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Which is
Yeah.
what that's the thing that surprised me the most about Murder My Dude is how comfortable I got in like more of the hosting role.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely. I like you do. You're both me in my shows. Like, I host, but then I also am the first one to take it on the side tangent as well.
Well, Brian's always wanted to be to kind of to talk about Brian and not BP.
Yeah.
Brian has always wanted to be a game show host.
That was my first job that I wanted when I was a little kid, was a game show host.
He wanted to be a game show
You
host.
keep it on track. You're very good.
We actually want to do so Project Humanoid is our like umbrella company basically.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a new show coming on Project Humanoid called Stand Upish, where it's about our buddy Nate, who it's like his foray into the comedy world. he's starting out. He's going to start writing material and doing like open mics and stuff like that. He's coming up to New York City the beginning of September to like visit comedy clubs and do things like that. So it's like him just talking about that, writing material, how he's like scared as shit and like scared to do it, and but it's him talking about like watching comedians live and all this stuff because he's Brian's age. He's 36 years old. He doesn't really know much about comedy. He's new to. I mean, he's listened to some, but he's kind of new to comedy. Yeah. And now he's trying to become a student of the game.
He's diving in feet first now.
Yeah. So his show's called Stand Up-ish. It's on. It's going to be on ProjectHumanoid.com. He's like 3 episodes in. He enjoys a beverage or two when he's drinking or when he's doing a show. He does a show when he's drinking. Or drinks when he does a show, whatever comes first.
And he drinks when he doesn't do the show.
That's true.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's going to be on ProjectHumanoid.com, which is our...
All the links will be below, and they actually are on, if you listen to Not Cool in High School and Tornado Tag, I think Murder My Dude is in every description of those episodes as well. So, if you both can answer this.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. If you were a ghost, what or who would you haunt?
Oh, man, you're asking atheists ghost questions.
Yeah, don't.
It does say if.
If okay, so we're in a world where ghosts exist.
Yeah,
who would I haunt? The president.
You'd haunt just whoever the president.
No, the current president.
You would just
Donald J. Trump.
Only him. Only that guy. Why his middle initial? Wait, is it we both have to answer or just one of us?
You can both answer.
Probably old teachers.
An old teacher.
An old teacher of mine growing up. Yeah, like teachers.
Just fuck with them.
Yeah, teachers that were physically
abusive.
and
Jerry Jones, too. Jerry Jones.
Teachers that were physically abusive to me. Physically abusive to me.
Oh, wow.
I was on the the tail end of corporal punishment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you were a Power Ranger, what color would you be and why?
Oh, fucking, this is easy. I would be green.
Yeah, Green Ranger.
Yeah, everybody would. I would pick the green or the White Ranger as well.
Yeah, or white. You're right, Tommy. Yeah. That's the...
If you had unlimited funds to build a house... What would you, or that you could live in for the rest of your life? What would the finished house be like?
Oh,
I'll let you handle this one. You're the architecture, design, visual person.
Depends on my mood, really.
See, I would be a recreation, brick for brick, of Wayne Manor.
Which one?
Oh, unlimited funds. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you said unlimited.
I thought you said limited for some reason.
Unlimited funds.
Okay. Wait, which Wayne Manor though?
The comic book version with the Bat Cave and the open.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like that's but if we're talking unlimited, but within reason, it would probably be like a Pacific Northwest style house with a porch, like something I don't know how to describe.
I always wanted like a house in the woods on the lake, or just take like one out of fiction. There's a show on Amazon Prime called Bosch. I love his apartment. It's like an A-frame in the Hollywood Hills, overlooking, like on a mountain overlooking the city. It would be that.
Yeah, mine was like mine would be Pacific Northwest. Anywhere where I want to live in a single home, but in a residential neighborhood where there's a lot of trick or treating, because I love Halloween.
Me too. I'm a big Halloween fan. If the United States had a purge, what would you do, or what crime would you pick?
I can't say that.
Robbery, just to get money, like because I don't want to kill anybody.
Yeah.
There's a line that Penn Jillette has said. I have already raped and murdered everyone I want to, which is no one. I would, but you can always have more money, so I would rob something.
Fine, robbery.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't tell. I can't tell people my This is why I go to
listen
therapy.
To Murder My Dude. You'll get a completely different.
It's Jackson Wells. Rape, bitch. No, I'm kidding.
No. What has been the worst thing that you've ever been dared to do?
Write a book.
I don't know.
I just wouldn't do it. I'd be like, fuck no.
Yeah.
A double dare. Fuck no. Fuck no.
I don't know what anybody's dared me to. I don't think I've ever really been dared to do anything crazy. Yeah. I know it's so late.
And the last one we're gonna do here.
Oh, that's it. Really?
Yep. What piece of advice would you give your past self if you could?
Oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
This is pay attention.
Oh, I got one more.
Oh, okay. Pay attention to
maybe two.
Pay attention to your weight.
Yeah, put that fucking sandwich down. Would be my advice to past me.
It's still not over. Like you can still.
But I have diabetes at this point, and I've had cancer. You know, like I'm a cancer survivor.
I'm going to tell you right now. Watch 4 videos on DDP yoga, and you'll be like,
I did it for like 2 weeks,
and you'll be like,
they'll be
like, this guy fucking paratrooper who they were told he'll be on crutches his whole life. Like, no one has.
So that's the first guy that we saw. Yeah, the ponytail.
Yeah.
He was doing like the handstands against the wall and shit. Yeah.
Like if that video doesn't say, you know what, I can figure this out.
I'm not comfortable in these chairs, but it's hurt my leg, my asshole. I was sitting on my balls for a minute. Fucking hurts.
All right. I'll do this one last because that'll be good. What movie or video game universe would you most likely want to live in?
Oh, Uncharted.
He loves Uncharted.
You just want to be like an adventurer.
Indiana Jones. Yeah. And yeah, dude. If I could be like an archaeologist, adventurer, fucking type dude. Fuck yeah.
What about you?
Some kind of like future thing. I can't think of anything particular, but like I'm more of a future person. He's more of a past person.
I'm a past. He's future.
Like very futuristic, like maybe not Star Trek, but something like that.
This is very fitting for your podcast. What is the one way you would hate to die the most?
No. Talking about how I'm gonna die and then fucking just drop him right there.
Yeah, I think it's that sudden like.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah,
I made it.
I fear that sudden like the light because it happened to my dad. It happened to like a lot of my uncles that
he came in. He went and bought pierogies. And he came in and apparently just fucking dropped.
Yeah,
wow,
like fell over the couch.
I think what I would not want to do is just like, I would hate to die at like. In an uncomfortable place, like at work. Like you're just sitting at work one day and then you just put your head down, die and shit yourself.
You know, it makes no sense because you're dead, but I just think that would be embarrassing. Like, I died at work?
Like that's
it's like shitting yourself at work. It's like, oh no, I died.
Yeah, I died.
Those people are gonna look at me weird now.
Or like being a Redskins fan at work.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I would say I'm gonna pick this one and throw one more last plug to your show for people to go listen to it. I think the worst way. So every episode you guys end it with a game show called "Who Died the Worst?"
Yeah.
And Brian gets to live his dream of being a game show host.
And we do a new game now on the Patreon, the Florida Man game, where I make up a fake story and there's 2 real stories.
I know.
And
he writes. He got into writing again.
I know. And I gotta get you're gonna get me in that fucking Patreon because I want to listen to it.
Go to patreon.com/projecthumanoid.
And you're there.
Go to projecthumanoid.com.
Well, there is a Florida Man game on.
It's $2. It's $2 a month.
Yeah.
So you're basically getting. You get a half hour extra. You get another case. You know, like we cover another story. We talk about 20 minutes to half hour. We went long.
This past was like 45 minutes.
45 minutes, but you get that plus you get another game, and it's right for the it's only for the Patreon.
Yeah.
$2 a month. It's not a bad deal.
Do it, people. It's a good show. You'll like it. But you guys, Who Died the Worst? I thought one of the worst. There's 2 of them for me that I thought were pretty bad, but like funny, but not funny, obviously, because these are really people died. It reminds me a lot of that show that used to be on Spike, like
1001 Ways to Die.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
But the one where the lady dropped her cell phone in Japan into the shit trough.
That was the first episode too,
and
it didn't win.
And she was like, "Honey, go get that." And he's like, "I'll be a good husband." And he crawls through the open spot in the bottom where all the shit is. The fumes overtake him. He dies and drowns in shit and piss.
He's suffocated, I think.
Yeah, suffocated. Then she's like, "I think my husband's dead." The next family member crawls in to save him. He dies. Then the next family member crawls in. Like, she mass murdered her whole family in a shit pit.
By the way, this was on our show?
Yes.
This was on the very first episode.
I don't remember shit. I don't remember anything about our fucking shows.
Fun fact about murder.
It lost to the guy whose head got stuck in the movie theater chair.
That's my number 2.
Oh, really?
That's because that's one of the things that like, it's so fucking embarrassing.
What's our favorite?
No, we're going to save that because... I may have recycled some things for Who Died the Worst this week.
Oh, that's in there.
Yeah, our favorite, the all-time great Who Died the Worst.
Hold on one second.
Is going to be one of the ones
I want to mute the mics real quick. Hold on.
Hey, you're to mute the mics. It's picking up on the camera.
Oh, that's the
sound effects.
Hold on.
What?
All right, never mind. I won't mute it. Because I wanted to guess what they are. There's 2 ones I think that would be your favorite.
Okay.
All right, the first one would be the guy who died having sex on the piano.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Or the guy who had one leg and his leg had to be amputated, and he told the doctors to go fuck themselves because he just had to dance.
I can neither confirm nor deny. That But that is the one. That is our all-time. That is the king of
the dancing dude is the king. He is. Nobody's going to beat that one. We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, he's like he had what like he had like MRSA.
He was a conductor and he had a big staff. And back then when you would conduct an orchestra, you would just bang the staff.
Yeah.
And he brought it down and it had a pointed edge and it went right through his foot. And the wound got infected and they wanted to amputate, but he didn't want to give up dancing, so he refused to have his foot amputated and died of the infection.
And yeah. So that's going to do it for our episode here. You learned a little bit about the guys from Murder My Dude here. Go check out all their podcasts and their webpage on the link below. Show some support. Like I said, they are a local podcast from the area. They're not locals, but they are now.
We're not from around here.
And they're not from around these parts. And you can always see Jack at the local Press Coffee. That's his second home. He lives there.
Come up and say hi.
Yeah, go say hi.
No, seriously, come up, sit with me, buy me a drink.
Yeah.
Why not?
Hang out.
What I would like to do too is I would love to start doing local people to have stories like, oh, my grandpa. We real quick, we met a local. How we met you at Culture to Culture is because the day that you were there, you were seeing what was that comedian's name? The girl
Sarah.
She comes here. Mm-hmm. So Sarah, we met her at Press. There was a music event. And she was sitting at the table next to us, and we're talking, and she was like, "Oh, I'm a comedian," and we're like, "Oh, we have a podcast," and she was asking what it was about. We told her, and she was like, "Oh, my grandfather, was one of the first people executed in Pennsylvania or something like that."
Yeah.
And we're like,
so local murders you want to do?
Anybody really, but local because it's easy to get to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could start there and go.
So the biggest thing I think, people always ask me like, how are you growing as fast as you're growing? And I think I attribute a lot of it too is because I have local. I do the guest spot thing.
Yeah.
Because when you do the guest spot thing and I say, hey, I have Brian on, and I tag Brian on Facebook, and then Brian's friends see it and say, what the hell is Brian on a podcast? And they go and listen to it, and they subscribe, and then it just grows that way.
Especially because I don't tell them that I'm on a podcast.
Yeah. I think what happens. I think the problem with me is I start to alienate people because I'm like, fuck Skooks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because my family is originally from here. So I'm from Philly.
Yeah.
My family's from here.
Mm-hmm.
They're from New Philly, Pottsville, Heckslersville. I don't know how to fucking say it.
Yeah.
They're all from here originally. Like 100 years ago, they left to go down to Philly. But it's different. It's a different vibe. It's a different culture. People are. It's so different here. So my politics are different than everybody's, and I think that helps shape us and stuff. And so when I say that, I just mean the people that are complete racist douchebags.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I don't mean people that are good people like you.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends are Tony.
Yeah, some of them.
Oh wait, is that
one of them?
Yeah.
I don't know how that phrase goes, but anyway, yeah, come up and say hi to me at Press. I would love to do a live show.
Don't say hi to me.
Don't say hi. I'm the extrovert. He's the introvert.
You can say hi to me.
We're yin and yang. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll say hi back, but not much.
Eventually, when I get the right equipment, I would love to do something at Press as well one day too. Just like, hey, whoever like a rotation thing. Like someone can sit down, tell me their story. The next person sits down, and we do a couple episodes.
Yeah, I would love to be able to do that with just interview people or have an interview. So that's how I met Sarah. So we're talking, and she was like, "I'll come out to see us at Culture to Culture." We go, we see. That's why we were there that night.
Yep.
And then we ran into you, and here we are. So yeah,
awesome. So that'll do it for the episode. Like I said, check out everything in the links below. We're gonna quick break down, do a thing. If you want to hear the next part of this, you have to go to projecthumanoid.com to hear it, or you go over our YouTube page and you can watch the video of it. So it's gonna be a little cross thing. But thank you guys for tuning in. That'll do it for interviews with everyday people. Interviews,
my dude.
Nailed it.